Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Diamond Mercy. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. Hey YS. Yeah, you're familiar with Mercy. Okay, here we go.
Take a deep breath. Now,
There we go.
let's achieve our objectives.
Okay, let's make sure we're set properly for this and get into things.
Ich bin da.
We're looking at our composition. We, of course, are running Mercy Anna. We have ourselves an Ashe. Not amazing for the rest of it for people for Mercy to play off of. She can do a little bit with her Zarya. She can do... It's not amazing. It's going to spend a lot of time with the Ashe here, but that's okay. We saw a comp very much like this for almost half a year, a couple months at least, so that's okay.
Let me get you patched up. Let me.
Safe enough.
Let me get you patched up. Let me.
Sure, we're going to cap that off. And since it's capped, we're looking to swap. Yep.
I've got you.
Why? What do you want up here? So I'm unclear what you want up here. So here we are.
I've got you.
And you decide to do a super jump here. Maybe you're worried that their Reinhardt is going to push through. Maybe you're worried this was the beginning of a push. I'm trying to figure out why you went up. Yeah, there's not a ton of value in that right there. Hey, Semitic. And it is Guardian on cooldown. Were you planning to look over there? No. Okay.
Healing stream engaged.
Like, we were better off literally just going, oh yeah, I'm going to tuck further this way, use the tree if I have to as, you know, not great cover, but potential cover. That's fine. I'm being nitpicky, but it's Diamond Mercy. I'm going to be nitpicky. And this is mid to high diamonds. Okay.
Damage amplified.
You get a peek there.
Let's get you back out there.
It's a good check on the flank. It's the first time we've checked on the flank, so that's
Damage
something we could have done
amplified.
more often. In truth, there's not really anyone that's going to threaten us there except potentially the BAP. That would be really unusual. Tracer could come through there. Usually would have done so at the beginning of the match.
I could use some assistance.
Okay, so clearly you're thinking, can I get up there? Can I peek that? Is it bad to super jump when there's no reason to? Yeah. So you super jump for a couple reasons. You super jump to get up to high ground that you can actually use, because the thing about real high ground is if you have real physical high ground, it is a physical object that you can use to block line of sight. So yes, we care about real high ground like that. When it comes to super jumping doesn't actually give you cover in the air there. It takes you away from people who have very limited ranges, like Reinhardt, so that's useful. It can put you up on this cover, which is useful. It can buy you time, because yes, it is better to be above opponents, even ranged opponents, than like right in their face, like you might be right here. That's at least a little bit harder of an angle for them to shoot at. It protects your head a little bit better, but it would have been preferable to go, oh hey, I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to have my Guardian off cooldown to hop here in case someone comes around. So it's not just like just super jumping isn't something that we go, oh yeah, that's what we want to all the time do. And you see some players that rely on it too hard. I'm not sure that this player does yet, but some players do go, hey, their solution to everything is super jumping, and it's like, okay, that works until hit scan can aim, which is about diamond. And sometimes flat.
Damage increase. I'm taking care of you.
Okay. So clearly you're just trying to get off the ground to avoid some of the spam, which I can live with. Why do you hate your Zarya? So we rezzed our Ashe, which I'm good with. We see our Ashe and we're like, hey, I'm going to damage boost my Zarya, because my Ashe doesn't have a sight line yet, so I'm not sure. Okay, we're doing this. Ashe doesn't have a sight line yet. Why are we damage boosting Ashe? Ashe has to use her weapon unless we think that Tracer is coming right back in here and standing right here. I'm unclear on why we choose to damage boost Ashe here. Damage boosting Zarya makes sense. Looking at Ashe while damage boosting Zarya could make sense because we want to know when to make our swap over to Ashe, but it doesn't make sense to be damage boosting Ashe yet. And we did just look at Zarya, and we can see that, oh shoot, our Zarya is in triage mode. We do need to triage our Zarya at least until Ana lands a hit. Super Jump is a nice tool for those with social anxiety. You don't have to ask for help from the DPS on the high ground to get up. You can just grab someone else to do it. Yeah, so that's sort of true. That's sort of true, but it's not perfect, Semitic. And I think if you look at a review that I'll post later today that I did of a different Mercy earlier, you're going to find that they didn't ask for targets to zoom up to a lot of time. They tried to use super jumps and they got punished a couple times for that. So when it would have been easy to ask their Ashe for high ground. So again, now it's okay to boost our Ashe, but I really would have liked to have the heals on the Zarya that we saw on our screen was low health, at least until Ana hit the Zarya with another dart. While Zarya was here being aggressive and our Ashe hadn't yet used their coach weapon to get up here. That would have been optimized for sure better.
I'm here.
That's nothing you can do.
Healing stream engaged.
Sure. Why? Tracer's gone. So you're like 100% safe over here. Are you Guardian Angeling in to try to get your Zarya energy? That is like the most cooperative Mercy. Like, Mercies don't go, oh, let me soak energy for you. That's just not a thing that they do. Is that what you're trying to do here? Because this is wrong. Assuming I'm equally good at all supports, what would have been the best support for this team comp? For this team comp, Brig. Brig would have been your best option with this team comp. You'd have treated it like a double bubble comp, even though it's not quite. And the reason you'd have done it is you'd have gone, I am able to help my Ana a bit more than Mercy can. Mercy Ana is always a little awkward. I'm able to throw repair packs on my Tracer, which is quite helpful. And I'm able to make the combination of Zarya plus Ana plus Brig is a decently powerful core to run stuff down that the ball initiates on once the Zarya has energy. You'd play it more like a double bubble. That's what I'd have recommended here. Yeah. It's not terrible. You actually intentionally flew into that grab. So you did. You wanted to body block for Zarya with her bubble. So you were a little late to do that, if that was the plan. That's potentially fine with me, but what you're doing here is you go, hey, I'm doing this. You're bubbled now, and you've used almost half of that bubble before you show up there, and you were always going to have this situation where because Zarya was sort of in the grab here, you coming into the grab was always going to be, you were always going to struggle, you can see it even now, to get your bubble in the way to block for her body, just because of directions and because your original hitbox isn't all that big. So we could have done that maybe if we'd gone for it immediately, but we can see even here, even when we've settled in the grab, we didn't get our bubble as far over as the actual Zarya was. So, little unfortunate, but not a big deal. I think Mercy's good here. Mercy's not bad here. Mercy would be my second choice of support to play here. I just am sort of objecting to the team comp in general. And honestly, my objection is probably, even though Mercy only gets really one person to help out, that's okay. Like, this is very similar if we replace Zarya with Sigma and Ana with Zen. This was a comp, and you ran Mercy in this comp quite happily with either an Ashe or an Echo, even though that was their only real target. Though Zen was a better secondary to Mercy than Ana was, which made Mercy better by combination. Even Sigmas are pretty equal in terms of Mercy value for them. So I'm okay with Mercy. Mercy's my second choice. I just am objecting to the comp, I guess, which is fine. It's brave of you as a Mercy main. I am not confident enough to body block yet. Yeah, it's a rare play. Okay, there's another situation later in this replay where you try to body block. Well, I hope the operative word there isn't try. I hope it's successful. Ashe Mercy is absolutely still solid. Mid-highish Mercy main trying to get to Diamond, so it's great for me to see that you do it differently. Yeah. Already noticed you look around a lot more than... I think there's still some room to increase the looking around that's going on here, but yes, there's some good looking around, like checking that window. If we have double hit scan and the enemy has pharmacy, would Zen or Mercy be better to support? If we have double hit scan and the enemy has pharmacy, would Zen or Mercy be better to support? Ooh. Why not both? Like, that's not an either or question. Mercy Zen is an excellent support combination. In terms of which is, like, strictly better, I mean, before the hit scan nerf, I'd have probably said Mercy because you don't have to deal with Zen's Discord range limit and Mercy's damage boost is going to help more. Now that we've had the fall off range nerf, maybe that changes because their effective range isn't really better than Zen's. I'd have to think about that more. But before, I guess I would have said Zen, but Mercy's very good. That would have literally been what are you more comfortable with and what pairs with your other support better. That's not really a question of which is better. And then Val never blocks his mercy, body blocks his mercy because they overvalue their own life. Is it overvaluing? You should value your life pretty highly. Okay, we're damage boosting. I don't need to stare at Ashe while we damage boost. I still don't need to stare at Ashe while we damage boost. I want to see a little more what's over here. I'm willing to do a check here. That's a little starey for our mercy play right here. And again, that's kind of the same thing where we're looking at this. Our Ashe is reloading. We know our Ashe is reloading. I don't know. Could we be damage boosting our monkey? Could we be healing our monkey? Yeah, we could do either of those without really moving, and those are more value right now. And we could do that then. We could flick over to our monkey, boost our monkey, no problem, and then look at our Ashe. We could boost or heal our monkey while looking at our Ashe because we know she's about to have a good position. And now-ish, we want to start thinking about boosting her because that first moment when she opens the angle is a powerful moment. So this would have been a, oh, my Ashe is busy, switch tether, stare at the Ashe or where the Ashe is going to go, not staring at the person I'm beaming, staring at this person, and then, bam, switch back to beaming them, and then actually switch back to looking this way. Like, that's how you'd have driven this. We just want to squeak a little bit more power out of this. Okay, so we're going to hit a Valk here. Let's take a look. Your monkey's gone in. Your Ashe messed up. That makes this painful. Because your Ashe didn't actually get through the window. And we're Valking with just our monkey in. Ugh. It's a little dicey. It's a little dicey. I don't really think I want this one. I wouldn't take this one because it's not strong enough. You are going to get another Valk. Like, even if you guys get full health, you are going to get another Valk if you use your Valk here, and that's the argument in favor of it. Like, well, I have to use it here because if I use it any later than now, maybe I don't get a second one, and that would be a problem. But I don't think I like this one enough. Like, just your Winston is in, and I'd really rather just go, Winston, you're on your own. My Ashe messed up. My Zarya doesn't have the high energy to push. My Ana's all the way back here. I don't really want to go in off this. This is a heavy committal.
Heroes never die. Damage boost engaged. Let me get you patched up.
Can we macro that better? I bet we can. Sure. Don't know what the tick of damage was there. The tick of damage here might make sense, right as he's landing the tick of damage boost, but the tick at the top there didn't make sense. Okay. And that was kind of always going to happen, so not amazing from a Valk standpoint. It's just annoying. Yeah.
I'm taking care of you.
Technically, that's an example of why it's frequently better not to pull out your pistol, because the opportunity cost of pulling out your pistol there was when the lamp showed up. You couldn't really deal with the lamp because you'd have to either fly through or switch back to your staff to boost your Zarya to help her, which is why we get the better flexibility on that, but that's fine. Ash went down because you were shooting that Zarya? Kinda, yeah. I mean, we can look at this and go, hey, you're here. There's a tracer on your Ash and you know it. And yeah, you went for this, which was an interesting decision. Yeah. Really? I'm surprised that you hit this Guardian rather than... Mouse, play nice. I'm surprised that you hit this Guardian rather than taking the step left to be able to hit a Bunny Hop Guardian to sort of go deeper here. Because this Guardian sort of forces you to try to ricochet off this, and it's not going to leave you in a good spot, and you kind of know that. You get more distance than I expected. Okay.
I remember this.
Don't stop now.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking I need to Valkyrie Winston or he dies and we lose this fight. But losing a fight isn't a big deal. Like, you're not trying to go, oh, I desperately need to win this fight. When we get down to like 2 minutes on the clock and we haven't taken first, which is about where you were, I'm much more interested in we need to get A. I don't care about the individual fights anymore. I need to make sure we win one fight to get A. And I am very much as Mercy in situations where we start to get stalled out on first, thinking, okay, if the only team fights that we're going to win are Valk team fights because my team looks to be incompetent, I'm going to pick the exact perfect team fights. I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket, and I'm going to watch that basket. I'm going to watch it very closely. Like, I'm going to go everything we possibly can to make this one push successful, and I'm going to find the best push to use my Valk on. Like, that's going to do more for you in terms of brute forcing games that should have been losses into wins, or brute forcing games that looked like they were going to be one-sided into, okay, now it's close, and now maybe someone else can carry the ball over the touchdown line or whatever the case may be. Like, that's how you're going to get the most in these games where we're just struggling to break first point whatsoever, where we're struggling to win a team fight. So I'm very much in a, I don't care about, oh, we're going to lose the fight. I'm okay if we lose 2 fights in a row and I can't find a good chance to use Valk if we're in this situation. I don't generally like the, oh, just hold Valk forever thing, but when you start to get this sense of dread of, oh, shoot, are we even going to be able to take A? Or are we even going to be able to get past the choke? That can happen here. That can happen Eichenwald first. That can happen. I mean, it can happen anywhere. It could happen on Route 66 first even. When you get that, you start going, no, I'm going to find that one push, and I'm going to make that push as perfect as I can. You're here for the hot new egg text? Okay. Okay. Sure. Good. That was nice.
I'm with you.
Why Ash rather than Winston?
Let's
Are you trying to
back out
feed
there.
Anna? No, Anna's already got ult. Okay.
Damage increase. Let me.
Yeah, you could have charged a little more ult off Winston there.
Look out, world!
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Good. Fine. Reasonable swap speed.
Damage and
You decide you don't like that window.
damage amplified.
We're definitely gonna res this.
Heroes never
And we're
die.
gonna immediately Valk this. Immediately.
Damage
Okay, so if you understand the state of the fight here, you're probably going, but Temporal, we've talked about this, and you don't like to Valk to get back into fight. You don't like to Valk as an answer to Shadow's grabs unless you have to, etc. I know the state of this fight. And I know the state of this fight, and I'm like, we're winning. I don't necessarily know the monkey is asleep, but I know we're winning. And I know that I see some of these guys are missing health. They're in a little bit of a disadvantaged situation, but they're not absolutely getting crushed. And it is important that we don't give up. Like, if we're going to put this away, this is how we put it away. And now I see you're using Valk. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Heroes never die.
Yeah, this is fine. Why are you here? What are you doing here? Go up. Go up. Like, go up where they don't have line of sight on you. You don't need to see these opponents. You don't want to be here for the Widowmaker swap, the Bastion swap, the Doomfist that surprise comes out. You don't want to be here for any of that. You want to be up here where you're still tethered on everybody. You don't care what they're doing. You can be up here holding tab to tell your opponents about any sudden swaps from them. Went 5-0 on your support placements and hit for gold for the first time today. Very nice, Anti-Gravity. Valks because I thought it was Winston and Ball, not Bob, caught in the grab. It was still early, though. No, I don't think this Valk was early. Conceptually, this Valk is early for the recontest, if that's what you're worried about, but I'm actually really interested in making sure we don't lose anyone to this grab, because we have a really high probability of getting 2, if not 3 ticks off of this push right here if we don't lose anyone in the next 3 seconds. Like, a really high probability, and this was their ace. This was their trump card. So if they don't get value out of this, we're going to win. And again, Valk is generally not enough to save your team from grabs because there'll be combos with grabs, or there'll be lots of people that can fight into grabs, and it's just too much damage for your measly 60 health per second. But we know the status of this fight. We know that they're down a ton of people, so let's make sure that they don't squeeze out 1 to 2 eliminations out of this, and then, oh shoot, we're in trouble. Like, that would be a problem. Okay, they're not going to get your Anna, but like, and I see you're saying, hey, it's Winston Bob, and I don't really care about Bob, but like, your res is already on cooldown. I don't want to lose Winston. Like, the difference between me losing 1 or 2 people and me losing 0 people here, even if I have to pay an ult, when we're trying to cap second point of 2 CP, is massive for actually making the cap happen. But yes, if you were totally aware that, hey, it's Bob in here, hey, the Winston is actually asleep, then yes, you could go, hey, I'm going to hold my Valk for another 4 seconds or so to handle the respawn wave. That is true. But go up. Please go up.
Healing stream
You're just playing with fire right now. Yeah, for the recontest. And now you won't have as much strength for the recontest, but you've got 2 ticks, and they're in a situation where they just have to pile on, and you're still getting some solid value out of this. Like, you still have a third of it left for this recontest that they're having to come out in a staggered manner. So, all good. Sure. Okay, and then when Tracer gets closer, you boost? Okay. Good.
This will be at peak performance levels.
This is okay. I'd probably transition out back to Ashe at this point, but this is okay. Yeah, see, this is too long that you're not able to get staff value. So, especially if you're finding, hey, I can't find anyone to get the staff on here, we're just going to go, hey, our Ashe is over here. We can definitely get staff value on her. Good. I'm good with this. But Anna's fine. You're going for 20 health, fine. Go heal Anna 20 health. And now you swap to damage. And now you're going to drop to create an angle to go up to Ashe. Please turn and go to Ashe. Please turn and go to Ashe.
I'm taking care of you. Yes, Support has arrived. Let me get that.
I'm so good. Yes! Bravo!
Increase. Yes.
Okay.
One. Complete.
So that almost got away from you, and we do have to talk about that because this was like 3 to 4 seconds of you just doing nothing. And that can't really happen. I know it's scary out here, like, hey, they could do the Widow swap, which, by the way, you should be doing a lot of the checking on between the respawn waves because you can actually be in total safety while doing the tab checking to call for your team of what the situation is going to be. Surprise Doomfist, Widows, Bastions, things like that. This is too long. I was okay with the decision to be like, no, I'm valuing sustain over boost. I don't 100% agree with it, but I'm okay with that decision. You can be here to move your heals to catch things like, oh, their ball is slamming. Let me throw my heal there. Hey, I'm helping my tracer out a little bit. That's fine. When you got stuck, you definitely needed to way more quickly remember that your Ashe was out here. Like you just did, because this was like 3 to 4 seconds, and like, oh, a second if I can't find a teammate? Forget it. I'm just out here, and I'm providing value like that. And yeah, you're more likely to lose someone like that if you're not over here healing them, except you're more likely to win the fight faster, which means you don't lose someone if you're out here like this. And you can still do this, make it hard, whatever you need to. If you need to shout at your Ashe so she'll move over so you can play from here, that's fine too. And then, same thing, when you go, oh, I'm going for the Ana, okay, I can live with that. She was missing health. And then you go back here, which I don't really like. I would have actually preferred you just hop down here so you can hop back up to your Ashe. Instead, you went point, you got knocked in here, you still forgot about your Ashe, and by the time you thought about it, she was eliminated. And it's not like you could have rezzed her, but I don't know how that Ashe Widow duel goes if she's got the damage boost, if she's got the ability to get healed a tiny bit, if, you know, Widow doesn't fully charge the headshot, that sort of thing. That was scary for a bit. That Elim on Widow was clean. It was. It was a nice Elim on Widow. I agree. 3 to 4 seconds is a huge amount of time in the middle of a fight. There's plenty of times in Overwatch where 3 to 4 seconds is not a lot of time, but in the middle of a fight, 3 to 4 seconds is a long time. Lucky headshots, the mines did most of the damage. Sure, but you doing the damage was the pressure to make the mines a problem and such. Like there's a back and forth there of like, it's sort of like how angles work, where it's like, okay, we are switching mice. Thank you, mouse, for being annoying. You guys are hearing Windows noises. That is my computer, not yours. You do not need to worry about a new USB plugging in or anything like that. Okay. Mouse that'll cooperate. So, like, saying that is like saying, oh, the Widow hit an, you know, your Ashe hit a nice headshot, for example, while you as Zen were threatening from over here, and it's like, oh, well, the Zen did all the work. Yeah, the Zen definitely helped by taking an angle. Or maybe the Widow, or maybe the Zen got the elimination, the Widow threatened, it's like, oh, the Zen did all the work. Well, the Zen didn't do all the work. Like, the Widow definitely helped, or the Ashe definitely helped by threatening. It's like the different angles now, instead of being the Widow and the Zen, are the Mercy and the Mine. And whichever is getting the elimination, it's the pressure from one or the other that's helping lead to that. But that's fine.
Score.
Used to watch a YouTuber who would put Discord videos,
Sides.
Discord pings in his videos to bait you to look.
Initiating match.
That does not sound like a good way to keep an audience. Like, if it just happens, it just happens. But doing it intentionally, no dice.
I'm here. Damage amplifier.
Okay, so things worked out, but I'm not a fan of that first Valk on Winston there for the reasons I talked about, especially on some of these points where it's easy for teams to get all the way choked out on first. If you sense that that might be happening to your team, it becomes really important that you do a I'm going to find the perfect Valk, even if I only get one type scenario. Like the perfect Valk in those types of scenarios where, hey, because we've all seen those where your team is just getting hard stuck at the choke and you're afraid, are we going to get more than one good push? Are we? And you got to make sure you have maximum support available for that one good push in those situations. Then we have some situations where you can be a little more active with your staff management. You like your Ashe a little too much. I did say she was the only real good target that you had, but just because she's the only real good target that you have doesn't mean that you go, oh, I just hard lock her. And you're not hard locking her, but there's situations multiple times where, hey, she's going to boost up to the window, but she hasn't yet, where you want to be on a different target. And then ironically, you seem to forget all about her on second and just be like, oh, hey, whatever, etc. And 3 to 4 seconds, like we talked about, could have helped you here. Could have potentially helped you here. When you were leaving into the first time, instead of going in, you could have gone over here to create the angle to go up. Like, all those would have been better.
5, 4,
Damage
3,
engaged.
1. Attackers.
Soldiers giving you some high grounds.
Defend objective A.
You don't want no stinking? Okay, you do want some stinking high grounds. Camera placement is reasonable. Good.
Let's get you back in the fight.
Yeah, okay.
Right beside you.
It's a little dicey.
Let's get you back out there.
Okay, so you can get micro on Soldier. I'm not totally being fair here because there's not really anything better for you to do. But this soldier is sprinting. He literally can't fire his weapon. There's a delay to him firing his weapon coming out of sprint. So as micro as this is, if you're paying attention to him, it's actually better to be on heals because he might unexpectedly take damage. He can't really unexpectedly shoot if you're paying attention to him. If you're not paying attention to him and you're just too focused on other things, yeah, you can have damage on him because you don't want to miss the damage beam on him when he does actually get to shooting.
Let's get you back out there.
I realized later that the res could have been done from the slanted part of the roof, but the Lucio might have booped me. Yep, that was a possibility. I thought what you did for the res was fine. You tried to make that hard for the Widow in terms of your positioning. You didn't go ultimate hardest positioning, but you went relatively hard positioning. She still was in the spot to be annoying, and then you did Mercy dance text to try to get rid of her. I'm not too worried about that. Damage boost, sure. Cool. You go for the heal there, that's reasonable. And he decides to fire his helix while you're healing? Yeah. Unfortunate.
Good choice.
Healing stream engaged.
Okay. That was better than we get out of a lot of Mercy players.
Healing stream engaged.
Okay, class, watch, because this was done correctly. We're damage boosting our soldier. We like what our soldier's doing. That's a little less good, but we swap to heals when he's turned around for an instant there. What we're really interested in, though, here is we want to go to the Ana, so we go to the Ana. We go to the Ana when we have a clear line of sight, which works. But while doing our Guardian Angel, because there's absolutely no reason we can't do this, we turn and look at something else and even boost something else. Like, I'd be happy if a lot more Mercies were just willing to turn and look at other things while they Guardian Angel. Like, hey, I'm Guardian Angeling, let me get a little information. This is like, nope, I'm going to get my boost on something else as I'm completing the Guardian Angel to my target here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. This is going to be less good. That was... I don't like this. I don't really want this because there's nowhere for you to go. Like, This Guardian Angel isn't going to get you up here, and even if it did, it's a problem to get up here. So the Guardian Angel, your only option becomes this, which sort of makes this your cover, which you can't really control. You can't make your cover better. You can't really force your way up here very well, except a really short-range super jump. These guys can control this. I'm just not really willing to go back into this. Like, you are putting everything into, I'm going to go here because I trust that our only chance is Soldier fights his way back into this and wins a bit of a tough situation. And I don't really like that. Like, I am going, no, I'm not convinced that this fight is lost yet. It's in bad shape, but I'm not convinced it's lost yet. You're saying this fight is lost unless Soldier does something wild, and I'm going to help him do that wild thing. That's sort of the decision here. And I'm not fully on board. I really would go, I see the Soldier situation. He's got a healing station. I'm going to boost Diana until I see something that's better. Because this Soldier, again, like here, I've got a little bit of cover, but they can force this cover open on me pretty easily, and there's nothing I can do about it if they force this cover open on me, other than going back to my Ana. And I don't think I'm gonna like get my Soldier something amazing here. He's not in an amazing off angle where he's gonna then be able to carry it. He's not up over here, so I'm not willing to go back into this.
Let me get you patched.
Different story if these guys weren't here and I could get myself up here, then I have a lot more positional control. But this positional control is not good. Yeah, you just got yourself naded as far as I'm concerned.
I require medical attention.
Oh my god, a compliment. How did I never think of doing other things while in GA animation? It's incredibly important. To be fair, that wouldn't be necessary at all if I was using Guardian Angel prefers Beam target off, since Beam wouldn't have been disconnected from Soldier. Sure, but there's reasons to do that both ways. There are different schools of thought on that. There's reasons to do that both ways. I'm fine with either choice ultimately, and you executed correctly given your choice. The choice each way makes different things a little easier and harder, and those things are necessary. It's like, do you want to be able to do that? Do you want to be able to... do you want to be able to do that? Do you want to be able to stick to fairs? Do you want to be able to, like, you've got different things that you can do when you're like that. I use GF. Sometimes I wouldn't think to GA backwards. Guardian Angel prefer Beam off is the more common setting. Guardian Angel prefer Beam off is the more common setting. There's debate on it, certainly. Like, yeah, but there's debate on it, especially when you get into the professional world, because in the professional world, you are going to be following your echoes and fairs more often. Mercy gets used specifically for her ability to pocket those heroes more often. That's the time that she most comes out in the professional world compared to the ladder world. And given that, and given that prefer beam target on tends to work better when you are worried about having to follow those types of heroes over a lip, in the professional world, you can find that setting going the other way a little more frequently. But yes. Only consider swapping off if there is a fair, otherwise I keep it on. It's really hard to learn it both ways. Or Echo, that's another one. Yeah. This will protect us. Turret's under fire! But again, if you guys are playing a lot of Mercy, you're maining her or you're one-tricking her, you're playing her in a lot of situations without Echoes and Pharaohs, whereas again, in the pro scene, most of her use, I could be wrong on that stat-wise, but a high percentage of her use shows up when there's an Echo or a Pharaoh on the board, or a very likely threat of a switch to an Echo, even if you're initially on an Ashe or a Kree type thing. So, yeah, it makes sense that ladder players like it one way, whereas people that have, or ladder players, Mercy specialists like it one way, whereas main supports for teams tend to think of it the other way.
Good as new.
I struggle at pocketing Pharaohs. I don't know if it's because Pharaohs and Plat think... hold on, this is way too interesting. We've got Secret Agent Mercy going on. Okay.
How lucky for you. 9. You should be at peak performance levels.
Okay.
Where does it hurt?
I don't think so.
How
like, you can see that there's nothing here. You have wall hacks. You can see that And friendly wall hacks. You can see that if you go out this way, there's no one for you to boost. Like, you're gonna have to get like out here before you can jump over to your Ana type thing. And there aren't any terribly attractive boost targets anyway, so just follow your soldier. Like, you're really not missing out on anything by following your soldier. You've now exposed yourself to get time on a Torb, to walk into a potential Ashe Headshot or TNT, to be able to go to your Ana that's effectively full health? Nah. And now to have a harder time getting on your soldier. I don't love this. Whereas if you'd followed your soldier, this would have been, yep, okay, I boost my soldier wherever he went. Yep, let me peek over here and just, sprinkle some heals down on the Torb, close the angle, all that good stuff.
I smell trouble.
Feeling powerful. Don't stop now.
No, you can check on him, I guess.
Don't stop now.
I like this camera control. Still good. I don't mind checking on him, suppose, but I'm gonna flip back pretty fast. What are you checking for?
Healing stream engaged.
Okay. Good idea, right?
I've got you.
Sure. Blood fall to the left. Guardian got stuck. That's a problem. Recovered.
Let's get you back out there.
He's fine. Your soldier's not in any danger of actually getting run over. You can damage boost him. He's got a good 60-70% health and he's in his healing station. Nah, Genji can't take him. Force this duel faster. Damage boost. Now you'd be healing, but, that's if he'd taken damage. Now you can be back to damage. And you don't need to go to full. Again, if your soldier puts more pressure on him, this is more awkward. Like, if your soldier puts more pressure on him, this is more awkward, and they have to make the decision. You force the decision on the Nanoblade, even when it might be a bad decision, and you force it faster with the damage pressure. Yes, I know, you're thinking, hey, the Genji's got beat. We can't really force the decision. It's more important that I don't lose my soldier, and I can live with that thinking. Here, of course, you're going to heal boost because he's dropping. But you really weren't in much danger of losing him in his healing station at 70%. Then we're doing this. Sure. Genji was really close. What if he landed a triple headshot? You weren't actually worried about that. So what we look at here, we go like this. Genji used dash to get here. If Genji lands a triple headshot, he can't actually turn it into a combo to finish him. A triple headshot from here does not finish your soldier off. He needs to go triple headshot into melee, into 180, or excuse me, triple headshot into dash into 180 melee type stuff to try to finish off your soldier. And he doesn't have dash. And I was pretty darn certain that he didn't have dash because it was very unlikely that he got here without using dash because of how this specific geometry works. So, yeah. You're overestimating Genji's ability to do damage when he doesn't have dash, is what you're doing. And if he landed a triple headshot, you'd swap to heal beam before he landed another one. No big deal.
A clean bill of health.
Walk it off.
This guy really liked rocket jumping? Okay.
Where does it hurt? I understand.
Objective lost.
I smell trouble.
New defense point.
I smell.
New defense point. Objective B.
Both your boost options suck, but Torb's a little better than Soldier right now. Torb might see something, Soldier's not going to see anything. The only thing you're getting by boosting Soldier is you're keeping your beam on him. In case he suddenly takes damage, you can flip, or in case he turns around and starts shooting, you can flip. Not worth it. You're slightly better off boosting Torb here. He does like rocket jumping.
Powered up.
I'm probably sticking with Torb rather than this one.
I'm here.
Yeah, I just don't like it. Like, when you're on offense and you take this defensively, no problem. If you want to defensively hold this as a hit scan, I can live with that. As Mercy, I don't love it. Like, I don't love it because you really don't have amazing cover options with it. And I don't want to be resting here. Maybe I jump over here in the heat of battle, but this isn't my chill spot. I'm much more happy to chill over here with Torb where I can actually manipulate the cover myself.
Healing stream engaged.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things. If we haven't just called the plan, we can either cancel this whole push with Valk, or we can cancel this push with Mines. Either one is going to work unless they overwhelm us with Grav. So really, we want to make sure we cancel the push before, as they're coming in, once they're committed, but before they're able to get a Grav off. So this should be how we're thinking about it. We know they don't have Nanoblade because we saw what that did to our soldier. So we're looking at this and going, your real win thing, yes, you're going, oh, we're going to do Bob. We don't care about that. Their real win thing is their Grav. So we can shut this down, and they've shown us that this is real. They've shown us that they're committing to this. They've invested heavy in this with Bob. So we're more than happy to Valk here unless we've called that we're mining. And preferably, I would prefer to Valk first and hold mine in reserve, perhaps as an answer, perhaps if things start to go south, etc. And then, we can Nano Visor later if we have to, etc. But I would like to see Valk here, like right now.
Heroes never die.
Okay. It's okay. It's not as good as it could have been, but it's okay.
You should be at peak performance level.
Do you have the ult to get Torb? You do. Sure, this is fine.
Ich kümmere mich um dich.
Okay. Yeah, I can live with your positioning for this.
Damage amplified. No good. Valkyries charging.
Hello.
Let me get you patched up. Damage amplified. Valkyries charging.
Hello.
Good.
Let me get you
Your
patched up.
Anna's not really in any danger right now. And the reason I know that is because the places Anna can take damage from are this angle, either through window or through here, or from a team coming through here. And I can see your tanks here, and I can see your soldier here. So this is getting advanced, and we're perhaps breaking our hierarchy of things that you should do on Mercy. But, even though Anna's missing this, and even though I don't want Anna to waste nade healing herself, no one can touch her. No one can touch her, whereas my soldier can potentially get some work done right now, can potentially get some pressure done. So I'm actually going to say I don't want Anna to self-nade. I hope she doesn't self-nade because I don't pay attention to her, but I'm going to keep boosting or keep enabling my soldier in some way right now rather than go back to my Anna, because this little bit of missing health shouldn't be stopping my Anna from being willing to help my tanks. And if my tanks start to get pushed back harder, yeah, I might jump over here to help my tanks, or I might go over here to help Anna. But right now I want to help my soldier a little more. I don't want to go back for Anna yet. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm glad we still got her. And yes, after the soldier dropped, I might have said, okay, I'm not willing to follow you and gone back for the Anna, but I would have wanted to stand the soldier for a moment. Ask for healing? I never ask my other support for healing. Ugh. Supports your partners, guys, your partners. You panic Valked because I didn't want to take more damage from the dynamite. Yeah, and the timing ended up being okay, but it would have been even better if you'd Valked before the dynamite. That's the truth. You knew that the other team was committed. You knew that based on the ult banks on both sides, that Valk was a good ult to invest into the fight. And you knew they were committed because the Bob, even if their positioning wasn't super aggressive yet, their positioning was aggressive enough that you were going to be able to do something to them with your Valk. Your team was going to be able to, and they were going to waste their Bob. Just wasting their Bob wasn't enough. Oh, Valk for Bob, I don't want to necessarily make that trade, but your Bob is in, that tells us that your momentum is forward and you're in positions that you are pushing in yourself. Yeah, we can Valk that. So, just a second or two faster. Supports together strong. There we go.
I'm taking care of you.
Watching Diamond Mercy makes me want to up my APM. So much motivation. Yeah, no, this is good. We're over there. We do that. Look at this. As we're Guardian Angeling towards the Ana, we go check out other things.
I'm taking care of you.
No problem.
Thank you. I'm with you.
Okay.
Damage increased.
You're thinking light box is your cover? This is getting a little chaotic. I don't know that I believe we have enough control for me to want to go up there, but okay. Specifically, control of mid is what I was talking about.
Let's get you back out there.
Sure. Can't help those, so I'm looking around for things to do. Except I'm not looking hard enough. So I go over here for ball. Reasonable.
Let's get you back out there.
Less reasonable. I don't know why we're that interested in Torb. Torb has nothing. Did we see ball? Is that why we went off ball? Ball shooting. I like that.
Let's get you back
No,
out there.
ball was shooting. I liked boosting ball. I knew that there were enemies back here. I knew that ball had something to do, or at least it looked like ball had something to do. I guess he didn't. Maybe you knew something I didn't. I don't have Guardian? How did I end up here? I went for ball. You canceled it super early,
Let's get you back
and you
out
choose to
there.
drift left rather than right. I don't know why you drift left rather than right here. If you drift right, you keep yourself in cover, you put yourself under this, and you'll still be able to Guardian Angel, well, except you've got beam target off. If you have beam target on, you can pretty reliably, even if you drift right, sort of force your way up past this and back up to these guys. But that's a dealer's choice thing. I get it. I'd still not drift this hard left, because it starts to put you here, which is just, like, unquestionably a mistake. Oh, you have beam target on. Right. Sorry, sorry. We've been talking way too much about it. My brain is clearly a mixed match right now.
Ich bin da. Healing stream engaged. Help me.
So then, yes, you have the option to have... I mean, you could have gone down or right either way, but you could have definitely gone right with beam target on, because you will pretty reliably force yourself around this to the Torb that you're beaming as you drift here for safety, and if things look good, you can go over here and hit the res that you were sort of hoping for. We're out here. We're a little too far from Valk for us to be thinking about just get Valk as our win condition. We're a little too far for that.
Ich bin da.
So we're going to go over here where we have
Healing
friends.
stream engaged.
You let go because you want the ball.
Help me.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, you went down
Healing
here.
stream engaged.
He's not going to bother you if you use Winston. Like, Winston's probably going through here to get the Mega. Yeah, that's fine. But that's okay. We decide to go up to ball. We think the health pack is our thing. The unfortunate thing is we don't really need the health pack. Our health is still fine, and the health pack makes our movement too predictable. Yeah, that's why you get so much damage there, because your movement is very predictable that, oh, I'm going to drop and then walk towards the health pack. Like, that's a little unfortunate, but that's okay. And then even so, you continue on the health pack. He definitely is denying it from you. There's no way you're getting it. Yeah, that was a mistake. Okay. Like, it was going to be really hard to prevent any of that damage until that last damage. Yeah.
Immer unterbricht mich jemand bei der Arbeit.
Maybe they were talking to the other support? About what?
Healing enough.
I need help. I need help. The battle continues.
Okay,
Damage boost engaged.
good. Thinking about your out. Good, you're gonna have to go out to the left. Reasonable.
Don't let up on them.
Okay, you've invested Torbolt, that's fine. You'd prefer not to Valk.
Let's get you back out there. Right beside you. You should be at peak performance levels.
You could Valk this. You should Valk this. So, here we are. We're like this. Our Torbolt's not getting value anymore. We'd have liked to get eliminations out of it. We didn't. We didn't get any elims, any stagger, any team fight canceled. We just got them to back out. But we have Valk, and we want to use Valk at the beginning of team fights. Like, that is something that we want to do. Going into or right as the team fight starts. That's a committal from their Winston right there. I bet we can punish that. I bet punishing that lets us protect our McCree, lets us go, oh hey, we're going to be able to bounce these two to do damage, we're going to be able to help our Torb. It's not like amazing best thing ever, but this is absolutely something that I'd go, yep, we're going to Valk this. And I'd Valk it on the Winston jumping. Yeah.
Heroes never die.
So you're there, but again, you're about a second and a half later than I want again on your Valk.
Healing stream engaged.
What would Valk be doing though? Just 2-man damage boost? Yeah, that is what it would be doing. So we're looking at a couple things here.
Be at peak performance levels.
They've committed to this. This Winston is now committed. These two definitely have someone they can fight in the Winston, and it potentially gives us, and we expect that there's more aggression behind this. So yes, we'd like to get as much damage boost as we can, and then we might need to soak some heal because of it. And that is what we're doing. And it may be a situation like we are very certain that we're going to get value, beam value, for, like, it's very likely that we're going to get beam value for the entire duration of Valk at this point, and the situation isn't going to get better if we wait to Valk later. You follow what I'm saying? Like, at this point, I know it is very, very likely that we are going to get benefit from Valk for the entire duration of our Valk, and if I wait to Valk at some future point in this team fight, the situation isn't going to get any better. Okay, you guys are just talking about pressing X for support. That's fine. What would Valk be doing, though? Just 2-man damage boost. Yeah, so yeah, it is just going to be 2-man damage boost. As well as the flexibility to go do other things if other things open up over the course of it. But yes, all we're going to get for right now is 2-man damage boost and then potentially some, oh, I've got to save Kree, and I guess I'm healing Winston it back up but while I'm doing it. But this Torb and this Ana are going to move themselves into more aggressive positions or are going to become more threatened. So this is what we want. And like,
never die.
if the argument is, well, what's it going to do? Because, hey, it's just helping me do it. Well, this is the same thing. You pop your Valkyrie, and you do see the need to pop your Valkyrie, and you're not getting more. You're not, as Mercy, suddenly getting more. Well, now I'm getting a 3-man or a 4-man or anything like that. Like, you can see you were going to use it. That's just how it works a lot when you're playing with poke teams. Your poke teams, when you're playing as Mercy, won't stack. When you're playing Mercy with a dive team, Valk is quite nice because your team dives in from multiple directions. Great. And now they're all in this general area, and you go, whatever. They came in like that, like that, like that, like that, sure, whatever. And now they're all in these spots, and it's like, oh, hey, my Valk can bounce between them in the dive location. If you're playing Mercy and Brawl, your team still sort of closes into a, hey, we're going to win in, even if we spread out, we're going to go in. If we didn't spread out and we just pushed forward as a group of 6, teams have done, then hey, my Valk bounces easily. So that makes sense. But when you're playing with a team that's going to set up more for poke, which your team sort of is with their McCree and Torb setup, then you're in a situation where you're never going to get the cleanup phase for a poke team happens when they're up by too much for you to Valk it. So you actually want to Valk them during the poke phase. And it's one of those unfortunate things where Valk does upgrade poke quite nicely, but yeah, people are going to be spread out when they're playing poke well. And that's the same for BAP with a window. Like BAP will be like, okay guys, we're a really strong poke team. I'm going to drop my window and let's stack all 6 people behind my window. Please don't, because if you're a really strong poke team, you should have taken your angles, and that's a thing, and doubling the damage coming from this one angle isn't as good as having multiple angles. So you go, hey, maybe I am going to drop my window here, but my Ashe didn't go join me behind the window. Maybe I'm BAP and my Zen is back here with me. Maybe I'm BAP and my McCree is with me, but my Ashe is up here. You know, like, that's the sort of way that we think about it. We're not going for in a poke phase, oh, it has to be a 6-person window. We're also not going for in the poke phase, and this was the poke phase transitioning to the real phase, but when we're playing in a poke setup, we don't have to be like, oh, it has to be a 6-person boost, because we're just not going to get that. The only time we'll get a 6-person boost is in the 5-person boost is in the cleanup phase, the brawl phase, and a poke team doesn't want to be in the brawl phase until late in a fight, and we want to use Valk earlier in a fight. I hope that makes sense.
Damage boost engage mid. Damage boost engage mid.
Yeah, this just sucks. Okay. Not the end of the world. Again, so I'm beating a bit of a dead horse here, and I recognize that. They have Scary Ult. We know that Scary Ult they have. We might think that they have Grav, but we know that they have Nanoblade. And the Scary Ults that come out of this team that we're tracking are going to be, hey, the things that they can win 2CP with are mostly going to be Grav and Nanoblade. Those are the things that they can actually be winning with. So on 2CP, we want to be tracking that, and we would have liked to sort of deter the fight from happening, win the fight before they can make their combo happen, win before they're set up, which, you know, they still have to walk in a little ways for that to happen. They have to walk into our kill boxes, as we'd refer to them to. But what I'm really getting at here is, if I can have control,
You should be at peak performance level.
we sort of know this team is in, but we're not sure they're committed yet. The instant that they're committed, we want to do this because we want to really punish them. We want to create this situation where we really, really hope we can get like the Winston traded out or something, which will cause them to hesitate to Nanoblade, or will cause them to Nanoblade into a fight that they're not necessarily going to win. Anyway, I'm going on too much about this moment, but this was kind of the moment, and it's not like you make a ton of micro mistakes from here that cause the fight to instead be lost.
Die.
And no, I cannot guarantee that if you'd Valked a second and a half earlier, that you would have won this fight. I can't. I can tell you that your odds were a little bit better.
I'm here.
And the only other thing, not the only other thing, the other thing you could have done is you could have potentially set your team up even more aggressive when you realized they had fight-winning ults, and you would see this happen in GM games where it's like, oh shoot, they have winning ults. We don't have great counters to their winning ults. Let's go, okay, ready? Push in 3, 2, 1, and let's go jump them with our Valk in the courtyard, which absolutely would be a thing, and they would be much less likely to be set up to hit their grab, to hit their Nanoblade there, etc. But enough of that. Sure, reasonable to go for the res. Easy heal. Now you're damage boosting. You could have tried to stay with Fall better on the way out there, but this is mostly we're getting very nitpicky.
Tracer here.
Let the hate flow through you, it'll unlock your Sith powers. Over the I need healing button? Okay. So on Moira, that's too much healing. I can live with the healing orb. I can live with the right click. I'm gonna cycle onto point basically immediately as soon as I have to, as soon as words are hard. I'm gonna cycle to the right immediately.
Help me.
I would like to mess with Genji. I see that happened. Anna's fine. You've set your hot on Anna. You're good. Stop healing Anna. Nothing here. You started healing before you looked. Good.
This will improve your condition.
You gotta lead. You do have to lead a little bit. It is a projectile. Yeah. Okay.
Ready for battle.
Damage increase.
Out of the water.
Hello.
Much obliged.
Ace them down.
Time to get my hands dirty.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Power up.
Hello there.
Heilstrahl aktiviert. Schaden verstärkt.
I'm in aim.
Five, four, three,
Damage increase.
1. Attackers
Right
in
beside.
defend objective A.
That'll get it done.
Okay.
Bang.
60 seconds remaining.
Sure.
Where does it hurt?
Heal up.
Heal during roll. Back to damage.
I'm with you.
You got greedy.
Where does it hurt?
This is great.
You should be at peak
He does his
performance
fan.
levels.
You're boosting his fan. You know that fan doesn't last forever, so you start healing. Beautiful. You're healing during roll. Fantastic. You go, hey, I'm not quite happy with your health yet.
Heal up.
Now you're going, hey, I should be swapping to damage. I can live with this, but now I'm going to swap to damage. I really am going to swap to damage here. I am. I'm going to swap to damage. It's okay. And you do, which is good. But then you sort of get greedy and go, no, 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 I want a little more heals. And you didn't weave it between his rate of fire. His rate of fire is really his rate of fire is pretty fast to try to weave heals between his rate of fire. Weaving heals between Sigma's rate of fire, Ryan's rate of fire, Genji's rate of fire to a degree. Weaving heals between Pharah's rate of fire, all that stuff becomes very doable. Weaving heals between his rate of fire would be very, very micro, and you're not timing it right if that's what you're trying to do. I think you're just annoyed that he's not at full health, so you're like, let me get a little more. I think that's what's going on here, because you knew he was stable enough for you to damage boost him, and you did damage boost him, but now you've changed your mind. And the only thing that would sort of explain that in a beneficial or in a reasonable way would be I'm about to leave him and go somewhere else, and I didn't think 80% health was good enough for me to not be here. I just thought 80% health was good enough while I'm here, because I can react if he starts losing health from 80. So maybe that's what you're going to do. If not,
I'm with you.
yeah, it's not. If not, that was just you being annoyed that he was missing health. Excuse me?
I'm with you.
Yeah, this is not a good corner. This is not like, please don't go here. Please stop it. Stop it. If you're going to Anna, so be it, but I don't want you there. It's fine. You can, as long as you know what your out is. I would prefer you pay a little more attention to your out.
Make a great team.
Yeah,
Walk
okay.
it off.
Power up. You needed a doctor.
30 seconds remaining.
Your support has arrived.
Till the end.
Why did she go here?
You needed a
30
doctor.
seconds remaining.
Your support has
Because you
arrived.
wanted to heal him a little bit. Okay. Fine.
Bad guys. Legs up.
Damage enter.
Better.
Healing stream engaged.
Step right up.
You're trying to body block for your Kree, aren't you?
10 seconds remaining.
Put your backs in.
I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Healing stream engaged.
Step right up.
Yeah, you're body blocking for your Kree, and if you take damage, your thought is you can step behind him so you can split. Okay, fine.
10 seconds
Engage.
remaining.
Let me get you patched up. Let me get you
Fine.
patched up. I'm here. You needed a doctor?
Probably pull that back.
I'm on fire.
Just conceptually, I don't like that you're walking towards them before your Guardian here. I'd have preferred to step away for the first Guardian, less time in sight of their window, but they were gone. It doesn't matter. Okay. Super jump res. There you go.
Ready for battle.
Okay. Okay. It has its
Ready
place.
for
It was
battle.
better to do it than to not to do it there, so all good.
Ready for battle.
I'm with you. Where does it hurt? Damage increase.
4, 3,
It was not. But it was fine.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend
in sight.
objective A.
You're boosting the Kree as a sideline.
Let's get you back out there.
You're checking that out. You're checking window. That does not count. You check on Anna, which has some value, but can we please go all the way and like actually check window? Like we don't have to like stand here to check window, but can we like? It doesn't cost us anything. It's fine.
Let's get you back out there.
That was better. Mm-hmm.
Spin down.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Let's get you back out there.
So the real solution here was to do this now. I know, you're leaving Anna behind, but the real solution now was to do this now, because you just don't contribute enough staying back here with Anna, so the real solution was to follow McCree now, with Guardian. As opposed to letting this happen.
Spin down.
This one mostly was. Again, what I gave you was slightly better, but I can't guarantee you would have survived.
A speedy recovery.
And sometimes that's life. Or death, I suppose.
Healing stream engaged.
What?
Healing stream engaged.
Okay. And now we're getting damage boost her? Damage boost? Damage boost? Well, that sort of works. I mean, that should have been time on damage boosting Anna until you could move your tether to Diva, but okay.
Bad guys. It's
Sure, but again, she's full health. He's reloading. It was damage boost on Anna. What did you want out of that? Was that a messed up super chomp? I think that was a super jump into a cancel because you decided not to go because you saw they were going. Okay. Sure. Boosting McCree is fine. Being here is reasonable. You're going to heal Ball for a bit. You're going to swap back to Anna if need be. She didn't take much damage. Great.
Let me get you patched up.
Okay. That was kind of a leap before you look situation,
Let me get
which
you
I would have
patched up.
preferred. You've got your look here. You've got your look here. I guess you had recent enough looks. Sure. And then you check again. Yeah.
Let me get you patched up.
This is the center of a lane. Like, no. You sort of have team control of it, but not enough. You're actually going to go further and be like, hey, I'm going to go to my Anna. I'm going to go past my Anna. I'm not really going to stop here. I'm not going to do this. I might then immediately abandon it once I've gone here and go right back up to my Kree or go up to my Diva, but I'm not stopping here. I get it. You're going, hey, I'm stopping with some height, and height is my protection. But this is like hitting a super jump here. I wouldn't consider that protection. Like, oh, your protection is height. Well, that's better than nothing. But you know what's better than height? What's better than height is cover. Cover is better than height. What's better than height is not being where people's crosshairs are going to threaten. That's better than height. And yes, height is a way to not be where people's crosshairs are automatically pointing, but this isn't amazing. It would take longer to get to McCree, though, more downtime. So what you're saying is by going here and stopping here, you're going to get back to McCree faster. That's what you're saying. So that is technically correct, but like, I just conceptually hate being here. B, it's not like you don't need some time over here healing Anna, and it's not like you can't damage boost Anna. Not as good as McCree, but you do need some time over here healing Anna. So let's look at this. Your Guardian's off cooldown long before Anna healed. And yes, your Guardian wouldn't have been off cooldown quite as quickly if you'd done what I'd talked about.
Damage.
But you'd still got to here. So yeah, you'd have been a tiny bit slower back to McCree. I agree. I'm okay with that. I understand your argument. I do. But dangerous things happened, like a window going up. The window could see you where you were, type thing. The window could not see you if you'd gone where I wanted you to be. And I didn't know that the window was going to go up. Even before knowing the window was going to go up, I didn't want you to do the stop here thing. So like those sorts of things happened, and you just had to go shrug. I guess I'm taking a trip to spawn. If this window had gone up and you had been the one that they decided to shoot at before your Guardian came back. And I don't like to create those situations because it's like, yes, I can be back on McCree faster, but my opportunity cost is I'm caught in a situation where there's just nothing I can do. And we would like to minimize the number of situations where there's just nothing I can do if the opponents do X, Y, or Z. Even if we don't know what X, Y, or Z is, there's certain things that we can infer, like being in the open, not particularly a good one. Writes down cover greater than height. It's true. It's true. Height that actually gives you cover is even better, though.
Thank you, kindly.
Okay. Are we going to turn and look at what's happening behind us because we care about it or no?
Where does it hurt?
You swapped to heals appropriately, sure.
I'm with you.
If we turned and looked, we might have been faster on the McCree support there, but that's okay.
You should be at peak performance level.
Easy tuck. Kept heal value. Reasonable.
Mercy im Bereitschaftsdienst.
Cute.
The battle continues. Heroes never die.
And that's yours.
Damage engaged.
And your Valkyrie because it's game end. Okay.
Pirate.
Okay. So, this was fine. Good Mercy gameplay. The things that we're going to talk about probably aren't going to come as a surprise to you. I really would have on that first push considered, hey, not considered. I wouldn't have done this Valk. I'd consider if you start to run into like 3 bad pushes in a row, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of shoot, we haven't been able to get in, you got to start thinking about, I'm going to make sure that we get one push that works. Like, I'm really going to make sure type thing is how I'd recommend you think about it. But that's just that's a specific thing. More generally in your Valks, this Valk was a poor Valk. Your other Valks were for good Valks. They were fine Valks, except that they both would have benefited from being like 1.5 to 2 seconds faster. Not huge swings. You had the right sense of when to use your Valk, but I think you could have preempted the Valks a little better. Potentially, if you were thinking a little bit more about, okay, what is the game mode? How do they win? What do we need to do? Like, and I think a general understanding of you don't have to get 5-person or 4-person beams with your Valk to make Valk worth it. Like, I think your Valks are coming a little late because they're sort of getting forced. Like, oh shoot, I got forced by this TNT. Oh shoot, I'm worried about losing my McCree here. And I think your Valks would have come a little bit faster if you had this conceptual understanding of like, hey, if my team gets sort of heavy in poke, if my team gets solid defensive positions, that's okay. I'm not always going to be able to get 5-person blue beams. 5-person blue beams are amazing, don't get me wrong, but if we're playing poked with spread, being spread, having angles is a buff in itself, and it's such a good buff that it's not worth me trying to like huddle my team to stack together or trying to nerf my Valk so hard that I use it late in the fight, because we know Valks that are late in the fight. I don't know why I drew an X there. We know Valks that are late in the fight are going to be less powerful because you get stuck playing catch up compared to damage boost. So a 2-person damage boost, if it's on good characters that can actually interact, that can be appropriate. That's not nearly as good if the other characters aren't relevant, but your other characters were relevant because it's like, hey, my Torb can shoot from here if he wants to. My Ana can shoot from here if he wants to. I won't be able to damage boost them, but I'm damage boosting or healing these two, and if the fight rotates, I can help them, or if they get jumped, I can beam them, etc. So I've got options where, hey, this will work, and that has to be fine. It doesn't have to be a 4-person, a 5-person, a 3-person beam would be great, but 2-person beams are going to happen when your team is playing with appropriate angles and when your team is playing poke, and that's just fine. You're still a good poke hero. Your Valk ult probably actually works best with dive heroes, but that's not uncommon for ults. Ults pretty consistently change how heroes function, so that's not wild. So the Valk thing, if we can bring those like 1.5 to 2 seconds earlier, if we can get rid of that bad Valk, that's going to help in. And then some of the stuff I'd get into, like in terms of actual making a difference in the match, this almost did, and this could have been really bad right here if you hadn't won this team fight. So this almost did, this like, whoops, I'm stuck for 4 seconds, and you just forgot about your Ashe. But in general, I would say there's a little bit of room for you to go, hey, when people don't have sightlines, you treat them differently. Like, yes, here's your Ashe right here. I'm not interested in your Ashe when your Ana has the sightline and your Ashe doesn't. Your McCree's reloading. I'm not interested in your McCree if he's reloading if your Ana has the sightline. Like, yeah, Ana's not a great boost target, but I'm not interested in her, or I'm more interested in her if my McCree is doing something that doesn't let him shoot. Oh, I have a McCree over here that I might let, or I have a McCree going or a soldier going over here. I'm not really interested in the soldier. Let me boost the Torb type thing, because Torb has a chance. Or my soldier's over here. Let me boost the Torb, even though soldier is generally a better boost, because Torb has the angle that's threatening. So I want you with your damage boosts to think a little bit more about who actually has a meaningful angle, either for map control or shooting at the opponents right now, a little more heavily. I want you to put just a little more weight on that than you are right now compared to which heroes are good to boost. You are not wildly wrong with this by any means. You would not be playing a mid to high level Diamond Mercy if you were, but there's room to fine-tune adjust this. And this is the sort of thing where I'm not saying getting this fine-tune adjusted is going to make you win 20% more of your games, because nothing at the level of game that is being played right now makes you win 20% more of your games. No single tiny thing, especially on a hero that is as hard to take over the game with except as Mercy. So what you're going to want to work on is we want to work on those Valks, and I know you've probably seen me in other videos say Valk, so you're like, oh, I was hoping to get something different, etc. I thought my Valks were pretty good. And your Valks were good, but like 1.5 to 2 seconds earlier on 2 of these critical Valks could have potentially been a fight changer. Not necessarily likely, but like 20% chance, 20% more likely to have been a fight changer if you get this Valk right, and this Valk also would have been stronger. So that absolutely adds up. And then we want to be a little bit more cognizant of, I want to, like, yes, I want to boost good people for boost, but I want to put a little bit more weight still on relevance of what the person is. A Torb here that's shooting out here is more relevant than a soldier standing right here if all the opponents are out here, as an example. This example didn't happen, but just as an example. So you're saying Mercy is the hardest here to carry on. She's hard to take over games with. Mercy's carry skills generally come in on comms, where you can go, hey, I'm going to do a lot of ult tracking plus fight planning for my team. And you can absolutely do that. Some people will be resistant of it, but you can absolutely do that. And it takes a lot of emotional mental investment into a game, and it makes you tilt easier, and it will get some people to go like rah, 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 and pick fights with you, and you will potentially burn out faster. But you can take over games to a limited degree like this. You can take over games to a limited degree with perfect Valks, and that's what I was talking about in like these games where it's like, I'm going to make this instead of a one-sided stomp, I'm going to drag this game kicking and screaming to a place where, okay, I set this person up for an alley-oop, and it's just easy for them to put the ball away, and hopefully they'll then be able to do it. Maybe they still won't, but I'm going to drag us to the finish line kicking and screaming, even if I can't put us over. And that's a thing that you can do. You can go, hey, on my offensive round, I'm going to find that perfect fight to Valk it and get us this. And then because we get more time, then I'll find another perfect Valk and I'll get us 2 ticks. And, maybe I'm able to get another one and we finish with 0 time, but we finish. Or we get, the first thing and then 2 ticks on the second. And then I'm going to either figure out, okay, against the team, do I need to defensively Valk to try to match their Valk, Rally, Coalescence, etc.? Do I need to really get active on comms and use my Valk every chance I get and go aggressively take fights and just repeatedly cancel fights? What do I need to do? But there's ways you can do it with Valk. And then the last way that Mercy really takes over games for real, the way that Mercy takes over games at low levels is she goes wild with her pistol, but we're past any ability to do that, and Valk pistol included in that. So the last way that Mercy carries games is really by riding that knife's edge on reses. That knife's edge on reses for, hey, you're really finding exactly what you can do with reses for, like, this was a 55-45 res and you went for it and got it. This was a, 50-50 res that you turned into a 60-40 res because you really micromanaged your tanks and got them to cover it just right, and you got it. That's the last way that she sort of carries into games. Obviously, all her other stuff matters, but those are the things that can sort of like, I don't want to say take over games, but because it all matters. Like, her surviving matters, her getting damage boost matters, her figuring out how to charge her ult up and then taking over games with ult matters, but then we're back into Valk territory. But these are probably the things that are like, if you want to try to get extra contribution to the game beyond what her kit is sort of normal, if you want to sort of like force extra contribution to the game, these are the areas that you do it in. But again, these aren't my focuses for you. My focuses for you are, hey, if we can look a little harder with that Valk with 1 to 2 seconds, if you can keep this thing in mind about Valk, about what to do when your team looks like they might just turn it into a, oh shoot, we can't break the first choke. And if you can just be a little more mindful of, hey, McCree's a good damage boost character. Ashe is a good damage boost character. Soldier's a good damage boost character. But he's reloading. He's got his back turned. He's sprinting. Let me grab someone else. Be that Ana, be that Torb, be whoever, that I have in beam range for just a moment, and then I'll swap back to them when they're ready. When they shoot themselves up and are ready to shoot through the window. When they finish sprinting. When they get back to here and can see, etc. Okay. Let me catch up on chat. So if you have more questions there, Mercedes, definitely let me know. You can throw them up in chat or you can ping me in Discord. If other people have questions, you can throw them up in chat now as well. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have, all that good stuff. Okay, so from our Mercy, back when I was learning to super jump, I would do it off cooldown in my games as opposed to practice range just to practice the mechanics. However, now I have to actively focus on doing it less. Yes, you sound like Val. Ugh, ugh. Um, yes. So you do want to be careful. Super jump is a defense when you don't have any better defenses available, but you would like to position yourself to have better defenses available, like cover, like high ground, like a team that you can GA away for, like a teammate that you can go, oh, I get out of this situation. All those things. All those things are better. Hey, someday Val will be diamond. Would it have been better to do it right the first time, even though it would mean taking longer to learn? Would it have been better to not over super jump, even though it would have taken you longer to learn? So yes is the right answer, but the real yes is a compromise. Because the real yes would be the real right way to do it is okay, go practice it, go drill for it, go practice it 10 minutes a week, 20 minutes a week, 10 minutes a day, whatever you want to do until you're comfortable with it, and then just do it 10 minutes a week to stay warm. The compromise answer is do a little bit of that, but then once you sort of have it, just do it in the spawn room. Just do it in the spawn room. Just do it in the spawn room while you're waiting. Just do it while you're waiting for the other team to come out of their spawn room type thing. And that's mental space that could and should be being used on something else. Should be thinking about, well, how do I work well with these teammates? Well, they used this last round. Are they likely to use this again? But you're investing in developing a thing, and you can potentially justify that if you've got limited playtime and you're simply not willing to go, well, let me do 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a week, whatever the case may be, of actively practicing it. That would have been better because, yes, you do have to then change the habit. You have to break the habit and reform it in a slightly different way based on how you did it. And it is harder in some ways to change habits than to build the habit correctly the first time, but this isn't a wildly bad habit over super jumping like that. This isn't something that is too hard to break, I don't think. Though, you're the one who's breaking it, so you may be better positioned to tell me, and I'm having a really hard time breaking it or I'm not. But spawn room isn't the same environment as in the middle of the team fight. Super jumping is harder under pressure. Absolutely. Super jumping is absolutely harder under pressure. Super jumping is absolutely harder under pressure, and spawn room isn't the same. You're not actually ever going to have to super jump in here. Well, I lied. You definitely have to super jump in here, because how else are you going to get up here to break all these? And it's critical that you break the arcade machines. But beyond that, on defense rounds, you'll still have times where you have real terrain to super jump on. And yes, you could over super jump slightly to put yourself in situations, but only slightly to put yourself in situations. In terms of, hey, I want to do it under pressure, that would be my response there, I guess. Yeah, there is something to be said for, hey, it's harder to do under pressure, and I need the real pressure situations. And that's what comp is about, giving yourself the pressure situations. And there's certainly the argument for I'm limit testing super jump. I'm seeing where I can get away with super jump versus where I can't. But you got to be real conscious about I'm forcing a super jump here, even though I don't think it's the right idea. And if you're conscious of that, that can be okay, because you're going to be resistant to building that habit if you're conscious of it, if that makes sense. Yes, break those machines. There we go. There we go. Okay. Could just use quick play to practice. That's true. I did the same thing too. Forced so much super jumping that I don't even bunny hop. Yeah, yes, you did. And we covered that. We did. Pocket Doom is fun. Let me see if there's anything else interesting in chat here. Mercy carry, hard indeed, since she's an enabler. Yep. How hard she is to carry is why I learned BAP. Always let other support pick first, and almost always go BAP or Ana. Okay. If you're in a game where you need to carry with no team coordination, pocketing the best DPS is often the best choice. Turn them into the carry. Sort of. Like, how hard is your pocket? You can go, hey, yes, it is a skill to recognize when you have a player that's playing loose, playing fast, playing warm, whatever you want to call it, and go, hey, this player is playing above this skill level. But it's really easy to also draw that conclusion that this player's playing well or that this player's playing bad off of too little information and not readjust it. Like, a lot of players fall into that trap. So I'm really hesitant to get too heavy into that. Like, I'm really hesitant to get too heavy into that because we will shade our analysis of whether someone is performing poorly or well based on our own experiences. We'll shade it based to protect our ego based on how the match is going. We'll shade it based on things. We're not great at evaluating that as human beings in the match while it's happening, while we're also a part of that match. It's a skill and you can get better at it, and if you're better at it, that will help you more. But I'm really hesitant to be like, oh, this person's playing well, so I'm gonna pocket them as a recommendation for the average Mercy player, for example. Some people are going to be great at identifying who's playing well and who's playing poorly and recognizing if that changes mid-match, and that's fantastic. For most people, I'm not going to recognize enabling the player. I'm going to recommend enabling the hero, not the player, and enabling the hero who's in the right position is what I'm going to say. When your DPS are Genji Doom, I'm not playing Mercy. What? Pocket the Genji during the Blade. Come on, man. Pocket the Slam from the Genji. It'll be fun. Okay. Thank you for the review. No problem, Mercedes. No problem. Is there anything else in chat here that I want to catch up on? I let you go for a while. You were mostly having your discussion about the I need healing button. Definitely writing look down more. Look around. Look around is more accurate than look down. Yes. Trying to get the res on Hammond. Yep. You guys are really playing into my OK class thing with all this writing down. Super jump res, not letting toxicity affect you. And then most of you seem to like when people use the I like healing call out. Okay. Okay, I think that's going to do it. If you guys have any final questions or comments, throw them up now. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this one up. If you guys would like to know when these sort of reviews go live, the best way to do that is to join the Discord in the description below. That way you can react in the Get Notifications channel, and then you'll get a role that'll give you pings whenever I go live for these types of things. So you can see, oh, is there a Diamond Mercy review? I'm really interested in that. Oh, is there a GM Reinhardt review? I'm really interested in that. Oh, is there a Bronze McCree review? I want to see what that looks like. Like, you can be here and you can pick which ones you want to watch by getting those notifications there. If you want to be here live to see them, to interact, to be able to ask questions, all that stuff, or see us cover other topics. Like, we responded to someone who was hard stuck, and I think that's a general good response there that would be useful for a lot of people. That video got some nice traction. We've covered other things like reviewed other people's guides, things like that. So if topics come up that aren't just reviews that are interesting to you, you'll also see those there, and you might want to be there to talk show host style call in, but actually just chat in because I'm not letting you guys unvoice. That would be crazy. Okay. Really hoping to see an Al Mercy review someday. I'm probably doing, I don't want to swear to this, but I'm probably looping back and doing main support. Well, I'm probably doing support again next, but I've had a lot of cries for, hey, do Anna, do Mercy, and do Lucio. And technically I did Brig, who's a main support, so Anna may win that one, and that may be what I look for. But the other two were also interesting to me, and they may do it. So we'll get it. We'll get it. And if not, we'll do something in the off season because we'll still have that last season they left up the previous season stuff like the entire time, so we could go through and get through some of those over time if we wanted to. Do Moth Mercy review, please. Moth equals Goat Mercy. Okay. I'm putting it on the list. Okay, that's going to do it for now, guys. Thanks. Temporal out.